Hi everyone, it's Dr. Michael Kim, Medical Director of Aeon Medical Anesthetic Center here in Singapore. And today is day 8 of the circuit breaker or partial lockdown here in Singapore. And today the government has announced that it is mandatory for everyone to wear a mask once they're outside. And also, even after the circuit breaker is over, that it will probably be required for everyone to wear a mask for an extended period of time. And even if the government does not request this to happen, I think that in all of our minds that our lives are changed forever and that we will start wearing masks to some form and extent just as our personal lives continue, just for precautionary measures. So it's important to have good habits. So today I want to share 3 things that you should not do when wearing a mask, because I know there are a lot of videos out there where people tell you how to use a mask, but today I'm going to show you 3 things mistakes I find a lot of people doing when they're wearing their mask. And I know it's very uncomfortable, and I think that's where a lot of these bad habits come from. You know, having a cover over your face is very difficult to breathe. And if you exclude my medical school years, I've been wearing a mask almost every day of my life after I graduated medical school for 20 years now. And I have a history of child asthma, and I have allergic rhinitis or sensitive nose. So I get blocked nose or runny nose, makes it even harder to breathe. But still, I have to wear a mask every day. So it's not totally comfortable for me either, but it's just a requirement, something I need to do for hygienic purposes in my everyday work in the clinic or in the hospital. In the beginning, it might be very uncomfortable, but over time, you will get used to it a little bit. It's just like, the first time you're wearing a suit or a necktie, wearing different types of shoes or clothes. It can be constricting, it can be a little bit awkward, but over time, you do get used to it. And this is not just for fashion's sake, this is actually for safety. So I think it's something we can all overcome. So here are 3 things that I think that we're all making mistakes and we should not do. So these are 3 no-nos for wearing masks. Number 1, first, we need to know which is the front, back, top, and the bottom. So I think a lot of times people wear with their mask the wrong way. So I'm just going to be using 2 masks to explain today. There's a lot of different types of masks, but this is a surgical mask and this is a reusable mask issued by the government. So I'll be explaining using these 2. If you're using a surgical mask, it's very easy because the colored part, whatever color it might be, will be the outside, which is waterproof, and the white side will be the inner part. On the upper part, you will see a metal wire here, which is used to mold around your nose. So this will be the top. So it's very easy to know which direction you need to wear this. Sometimes I see people wear like this, or with the metal strip on the bottom. So that's the correct way to wear this. Now, it's a bit more difficult when you have a reusable mask because you can see both sides look the same. There is a small stitch here, if you can see here, which you can determine if you want to use this for the top or the bottom. But other than that, you can't tell which is the front and the back. So for this one, there's a little knot here, a little stitch, which you can use as a reference so you can determine, okay, which one is going to be the outside and the inside, and determine that and stick to that. Or you have to mark it somehow using some type of a ribbon or a little thread like that. So the reason that you have to know which is the outside and the inside, especially for the medical surgical mask, is because the outside is actually waterproof and is meant to prevent different droplets from entering the mask, whereas the inner part is more absorbable and is supposed to absorb any droplets coming out from your nose or your mouth when you sneeze or cough. So this has to be separate, and you have to know which direction it has to be. For the cloth mask, it's not that there's no direction to this one, so it doesn't matter. But the reason is that when you wear a mask, the second mistake that a lot of people make is you're not supposed to touch the mask like I'm doing now. So even though you do touch it, afterwards you have to wash your hands. And a side note, we're talking a lot about washing your hands, but if you touch your mask or you touch something dirty, how are you going to wash your hands when you're outside? Sinks and water and soap are not so readily available. So always try and carry around a little bit of hand sanitizer with you. So the number 2 mistake is people touch their mask too much. So don't touch the mask here. The reason being is that when you breathe in, what the mask is supposed to do is filter the droplets that contain the virus and prevent them from coming into your respiratory tract. So it's supposed to have the virus. If there's virus around you and it's filtering and doing its job, it will be located on the outside of your mask here. And so you don't want to touch this and then later touch your mouth or your nose or your face where you can get infected. So always only touch the mask, if possible, on the loops here. So you only touch the loops and then try not to touch it inside. If you have to, adjust it, which you might have to at home before you go out. Then make sure you wash your hands or sanitize your hands. If you go out, you might find that it might have dropped a little bit or come out of place, then you have to do it again. Then that's why you have to have hand sanitizer with you. So after you adjust, then you can wash your hands again. So the outside is the dirty part. You're doing everything right, but you come home, then you take off your mask and you touch your mask, and then if you don't wash your hands, you're just bringing all this virus that you filtered out outside into your home. So that's something that we don't want to do. So don't touch this area. Just get in a habit of don't touching. I see a lot of people fidgeting with the mask. I know it's uncomfortable. Again, you just have to get into the good habit of not touching it. I see people touching and adjusting and even going like this. This is a no touch zone. This is some place that you should not be touching, okay? Just the loops if possible. Even better, before you take them off, wash your hands because you don't want to contaminate your mask loops either. So wash your hands again, sanitize, and then touch the loops. And then you should hang it up or wash it. So if you hang it up, you should know which side is the outside and the inside. If the outside is this way and you always hang it up the same direction, that's okay, but because this is the dirty side. So you hang it up this way, but then the next day, say you hang it this side, then the virus that might be on this side here on the wall might contaminate the inside, and then you're putting that into your mouth. Or worse, the outside, which has the virus, is going onto your mouth. So make sure you know which side is the front and which side is the back, okay? The third mistake I see a lot of people doing is wearing the mask improperly, is that they will wear it below their nose. Even worse like this. So say you're somewhere by yourself, maybe you're on a sidewalk and no one's around you and you want to get some fresh air without the mask, then you can put it like this and you can breathe. But if you wear it like this or like this, then you're letting the air droplets, the droplets in the air can go into your nose and infect you. So this is not total protection. You do have to cover the nose completely with the dental mask or the surgical mask. You make sure it's molded to the contour of your face. Make sure you pull it down and make it below your chin, not like this or like this, okay? Because this is a very loose fit and a lot of the virus can enter through this area. So you want to make sure you pull it down, okay? Make sure there's a good fit here. I have a bigger face, so it's tight enough here on the side. But if you have a smaller face, you might need to tie this in the back to make it a little bit tighter. The tighter, the better, because you want to have a good seal and fit around here. So make sure you cover both your nose and the mouth when you're outside. Okay, so I hope these tips help. Remember 3 things that you don't want to do. Know which is the front, back, top, and the bottom. Don't touch this area of the mask. And always make sure you cover both your nose and your mouth. So everyone, stay safe, take care of yourself, and take care of others.